Luke, thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
The business owner of Mo Town Barbers. It's an honour to have you on.
Yeah.
We've got Large joining us today. Make this a bit more of a conversation. First of all, Luke, can you tell us the Mo Town Barbers story?
Mo Town Barbers story, it started probably 13 years ago, probably back in 07, 08. I had just sort of moved to Christchurch from Levin and sort of trying to find my feet and not sure what I wanted to do. And one day, a friend of mine just wanted a haircut, and me not having any experience, never touching clippers or scissors, he asked me for a haircut, and I said, yeah, sure, why not? And so, I sat him down in the backyard with a towel around his neck, and with nothing but a pair of paper cutting scissors, the ones that you have at school with the orange handled scissors, orange handles, the ones that every school has, and went to town, and he must have liked it because he asked for another one a month later. So that's sort of how it started. Like, if it wasn't for him asking me for a haircut, maybe I never would have been a barber. Like, that's truly how it happened. And after a while, people started saying, hey, you seem to like, you're doing some good cuts, man. Maybe you should take it up, like as a job. And I thought, really? I was like, yeah, okay. And they said, there's someone had put me onto a salon, Ginger Meg's. So Ginger Meg's, if you don't know, is run by Mike Hamill, who's won a lot of awards. He's really well known in Christchurch, probably around, and definitely in the salon industry. He's done amazing stuff. And they said, if you're going to do this, like, you should go to a salon that's doing things, that's entering competitions, that all that kind of stuff. And so I went into Ballantyne's. This is where they were at the time, the top floor of the Contemporary Lounge. And I walked in there. I'd never been in the Contemporary Lounge. And if you've ever been in there, you must have a lot of money. Because the clothes in there are really expensive. And I went in there and I almost turned around because I thought, there's no way I'm ever going to get a job here because I can't even afford to shop here. Like, how am I ever going to get hired? I don't have any experience other than the home jobs I've been doing with my orange scissors. So, and so I went in, I just picked up the courage and went to the front counter and just said, hey, do you guys take on apprenticeship? Do you guys do apprenticeships or anything like that? And they said, you need to talk to the boss, Mike, and he's in our Mirrorvale store. So I'm like, okay. So I made my way to Mirrorvale and found Mike Hamill, and I asked him if they had any jobs going or if they would train me. And again, he asked, do you have any experience? I said, no, I don't have any experience. And he says, we're actually looking for a junior to start in the next coming months. He said, I'll give you a call. And so the weeks went by, and I thought, this guy's never going to call me. And it probably was maybe 6 weeks after that conversation, I get a phone call saying, hey, do you want to come in? And so I went in there and they said, hey, how would you like to do Saturdays? I'm like, yeah, definitely, I'll do it. They said, we can't pay you. I said, that's fine. I said, it's fine. I'm already working Monday to Friday. I'll come in on Saturday and do whatever. So I did that for 8 weeks, 8 Saturdays without pay. And they said, we're really loving your work. You've been very helpful, all that kind of stuff. We'll bring you on part-time. And so that's how it started. I started part-time at a salon, just washing hair, sweeping the floor, and then I got into a bit of styling. But I really wanted to cut hair. That's where my passion was. That's why I went there in the first place. And I was there for 2 years. I stuck it out for 2 years, and which I'm grateful for. And then I gave it up for a while, and I just continued to cut at home, just doing my thing, just because I loved it. It was just a passion. And I tried other jobs but I was always cutting after work, on the weekends. People would text me or whatever, Luke, I need a cut, and I'd often stop whatever I was doing because I enjoyed it that much. I would just stop what I was doing. If I was in town shopping, I would go home because someone wanted a haircut. I'm like, yeah, give me 20 minutes to get home and I'll meet you there, kind of thing. And I was doing free haircuts for a while. Then it bumped up to like $10 haircuts, and then $15 haircuts, and then $20 haircuts. And then a good friend of mine, Matt Brown, was starting my father's barbers, And so I got a job with him about 6 years ago. My goal was to be a barber, to own my shop. That was always my end goal. I went into it thinking, okay, this is my final stop in terms of career choices. Like, I'm sick of stopping and starting jobs. I said to myself, this is it. I'm not changing again. Like, if I get sick of it, I'm gonna find new ways to get excited about it. If I suck, I'm just gonna have to get better. Like, there's no plan B in this. This is it. But my heart was always to have my own shop, and so I remember it. Motown was birthed in my head first. I was actually cutting Elijah's hair to be when the idea birthed.
Yeah,
So that's kind of funny that we're here, right?
Come full circle.
I was cutting his hair, and Motown was playing in the back, and I was cutting his hair. And I was like, Motown, and Elijah's like, oh, what, Motown? Like, it's like, yeah, Motown, bro. And he's just,
Bro, I remember that.
he doesn't really. I don't think he was like, yeah, Motown, yeah, like, but in my head I was just like, no, Motown Barbers, and he's just like, yeah, like, oh, yeah. And I was just like, yeah, like Motown, like Mo, as in like moustache. I can twist the words and make it fit to a barbershop. And I was like, Motown Barbers, yeah, that's gonna be a thing. Like,
That's awesome.
and it just stuck in my head for like the next year, and I couldn't think of anything else. I was trying to think of other names. Like, nah, maybe I'll think of something else. It just wouldn't go away. So, I made the leap to go out on my own 2.5 years ago now. You know, I just felt like, okay, if I'm going to do this, I feel like I need to do it soon, because I don't want to get old and then start a business. I want to feel like I got the energy to do this. And we made the call to start it at home. So if I can make it at home, I can make it anywhere, kind of thing. That was sort of my mentality. So started at home, and I had this goal of 2 years, a 2-year goal to, because they say in business, 2 years, you're either going to make or break. So I thought, okay, 2 years then. If I'm still around, if I'm still doing haircuts, if people are still booking in, I'm like, cool, I'll feel confident to take it out. Wow. So 2 year was the goal. One of my clients who works in Hill Modern owned a group of shops, and he had a shop in there that was a barber shop. I thought, okay, I'll have a look. I looked at it. It was run down as I said, okay, how much is this going to cost, all that kind of thing. What's the lease worth? And I thought it was quite reasonable. No one was on the that side of Christchurch. There was nothing around Hunhei, Hillmorden, Horswell. And I talked to my suppliers. I'm like, do you guys send any products? Are you guys servicing anyone in that area? And they're like, no. I'm like, okay, sweet. And there's a market there. I think this is going to be good. And so I took the lease there. He gave me free rein to do what I wanted. So we ripped the whole thing out and started fresh. And that was, I made my 2 year, probably a month or so, I think, early before the 2 year mark, so, which was great. So got my first shop over there. And after the COVID, we moved out of my house, so I lost my home studio, which was fine. I said, something's going to happen. I just need another spot, and I wasn't too worried. My personality is just, it's to never worry. Something always happens. There's always something that's going to happen. Just don't worry about it. And I was right. I got a phone call by a guy who ran a hub of businesses in Aranui, and he said our barbers moved out he doesn't want to come back. Would you be keen to take over? And I was just like, well, there it is. That's what I was waiting for. And so again, the opportunity came to me. I came down and had a look, and I just thought, this is meant to be. And so within the space of 8 months, I got 2 shops.
Man.
And which is totally unexpected. That wasn't my plan. That totally wasn't my plan. And things have been ticking along pretty good. Despite COVID, business has been definitely standing. And Motown is, I feel like we've finally established now. I'm blessed. I feel blessed to be in this position now.
Oh, that's amazing. No, thanks for telling us the Motown Barbers story. That's an incredible story. And what it seems like is that your drive and passion and the hard work that you put in right at the start there really paid off, and it's still paying off to this day. Like all that groundwork that you've done.
Yeah.
Do you believe that groundwork you did was essential to your success now?
Yeah, definitely, 100%. Like if you think about it, even though I was a barber, like I worked as a barber for 4 years prior to Motown, I've been doing it for like a long time. Like before that, it was like 8 years before that. So, if you think, I've been doing it as a passion for over a decade. So it kind of, I think that definitely played a part in where I am now, and the journey that it hasn't been a quick journey, like a quick process. Whereas I think people get excited about something, and then within months or a year, they just go jump and open up a shop. And if they can do that, then great, good on them. But I think what's been beneficial or successful for me is that the fact that I've put in that groundwork, established myself. Like people that know me, like a lot of people have a story or a memory about me years ago. I remember when I used to cut my hair back in the garage, back in my lounge or back in my kitchen, kind of those kind of stories. I feel like, I've just been in it a long time now, and that's really paid dividends to now, where I've kind of established myself. I feel like I've matured in the industry, the people that I've met, and all that kind of thing. So definitely, I've definitely done the groundwork, and my foundations I feel like are strong.
Yeah, well, you can really, like, hearing that story, you can really hear the amount of passion that you had outweighed like the pursuit of wanting to start a business, kind of like the money side of it. What do you think the importance is of having just that passion and like a vision for yourself?
Before it became anything to do with money, obviously there's the passion of doing something that I love. Really was the foundation first, and it kind of turned financial later because for me, people told me that barbering was not a financially safe, secure job. Like I was told, you should try something that's like a trade that's like plumbing or building or
crazy
or something like that. Maybe not barbering. And at that point in time, they were right. Like no one, like the only barber shops around were the $10 corner, and what are those? I don't want to say names, but those shops with the
$10 cuts,
$10 cuts basically. Yeah, with a Z.
with a Z.
With a Z. So they were right. Like salons were the place to go to because they were charging big money, for haircuts. So we kind of had to, definitely establish ourselves as barbers and get it to a point where we're respected again. And so, but for me, going back to what I was saying is that for me it was a passion before anything, and I was just, for me, I just didn't want to do. I was sick of doing jobs that I hated. Right.
Such a good point. Yeah.
And why should you do a job that you hate? If you're good and passionate about it, you'll find a way for it to work. I mean, I always got told, focus on what you love. The money will come after. The money always comes later, and I never understood that because I just didn't. It just didn't make sense to me. Yeah. But if your passion is to cut hair, or if your passion is to do filming or whatever, and you put your heart and soul into it, and you make it the very best that can be, people value that, right? It becomes valuable because you put so much time and effort into it. And then I can see, okay, the money's coming now because I've practiced enough to make it valuable. So, the money I've been able to turn it into a job, which is, I guess always the dream for, anyone to make money out of doing something that they love. So those people that told me that, don't do barbering because there's no money in it, maybe, but you can make money out of anything that you're passionate about. So I'm glad that I stuck to my guns. And
well, now there's like a whole bunch of people starting like barbering. Everybody's cousins like starting like $5 cuts. Like out of the go, like dudes like you probably paved the way for that in Christchurch, especially like
I mean, there were so many guys before me. Like I can't take credit. Like definitely, there's so many guys that were doing the backyard thing, and they were the go-to guys for haircuts. But yeah, definitely, I feel like I became a part. I was, of a movement before it was cool, and a trend or something like that. Yeah, you're right. A lot of young guys are getting into it because it's such a hands-on thing, and you don't need a lot of money to start.
True.
Okay.
So I feel like it's such an accessible career path.
Right. Yeah.
To dabble in to see if you actually like it or not, because it's not going to cost you a lot of money.
Because now it is, as Lige was saying, it's a very competitive market.
Definitely,
Barbering, it's super competitive. There's so many people, and as you were saying, you got in there just before the market became saturated.
Yep.
And you built your brand.
Yep.
You built your reputation. How important is a barber's reputation in their success? Like, because the people you cut, they are your advertisement, right?
100% they are walking billboards, you know what I mean?
Wow.
Yeah. So if you so that's why I don't understand like those places in the mall. I don't say again. I'm not going to name names, but
Let's name names. Come on.
start a barber beef now. No, like I just said, like they're a walking billboard. So why would you not want to do the very best job you can?
Right. Yeah.
There are some horrendous haircuts coming out of places, right? And you're pretty much telling people, don't come to me because I don't do a good job. I don't care about your hair.
True.
So for me, like in barbering these days, like appointments are like half an hour minimum, right? Yeah. Which is for a barber haircut, that's a long time. Like if you go back, they were like 5-minute jobs. Out you go. Next one. Maybe that's why they were so cheap. But like I said, we've brought a new perspective to barbering. We've raised a new standard of how a barber haircut should be, and how valuable that is now. So I think it is competitive, and maybe that is. I think that's a good thing because it's made barbers raise their game, and also raised the value of it because now you know the good ones from the bad.
Absolutely.
Right?
It's crystal clear.
Yeah.
I mean, you see someone walking out of a mall with a mall cut versus someone walking out of Motown Barbers with a cut. You recognize immediately the difference.
And and that's why sometimes I go overtime because I'm not happy. If I'm not happy and that person walks out, I'm risking my reputation on someone seeing that because they say you're only as good as your last haircut, and if it's a bad haircut, well then people are going to remember you gave me a bad haircut, and if people are going to ask who did that, Motown Barbers, then your reputation just goes out the door. Like, oh no,
not going back.
Yeah, exactly.
Going back there.
Exactly.
Yeah. Oh wow. In the process of establishing your business, was there anything that you've found out on the business side of the world, so finance-wise, kind of lending-wise, business-wise? Is there anything that you know now that you wish you knew at the start? Any piece of advice of things to expect if you're establishing your own business?
There's something called GST. No. Tax. No.
Was that a big learning curve?
Yeah, 100%. Like, I'm grateful that my role at my father's barbers was on a contract basis, which meant that I had to deal with my own taxes, which was a good taste test before actually running my own business. It's like a semi-business, like an in-between, a sole trader. So it's a business without the big branding and all that kind of stuff. Basically, you got to deal with your own tax and stuff. So I got an accountant quite early on, which is great advice for someone like myself who doesn't have a business background. To have someone take care of your finances, because the last thing you want to do is have to stop what you're doing because you're in trouble with money and you haven't paid your taxes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I would encourage anyone that's starting out to get an accountant to help you with that, because they just know stuff that you just would not know. Teamwork makes the dream work, right? So you need someone. Don't try and do it on your own. Even if it's a parent or a brother or a friend, they can help you with that. Then I'm lucky I have my wife. She does a lot of the book work. I love to just focus on what I love doing, which is cutting hair and servicing people. And so I'm lucky I have someone like that to do the payroll, do all that stuff that I don't like doing.
Yeah.
That's great advice. And as part of Tall Poppy Project, one of the things that we focus on, as well as inspiring people to start businesses, charities, to become entrepreneurs, is actually just starting the conversation about basic financial advice. Because before, I think people get into business, into any of this sort of thing, when they're coming out of high school, they need to start thinking about finances.
Yeah.
Is there any piece of financial advice that you would give to young people nowadays and this next generation coming up? Any simple piece of financial advice?
Save, if you can.
Yeah.
I didn't have any advice
Yeah.
coming into it. I don't come from a very business-oriented family. My dad, however, did have a business for a while, and he's not he wasn't educated at all himself. So yeah, I come from a background of giving it a go. What that mean? I would say, yeah, save, have a savings account or whatever it is, and just and build that, because I never had that to start with, and I probably would have started earlier had I had that kind of thing. But
you think that would have given you a leg up if you did have that financial advice as a young person?
Definitely. Sometimes you have all these ideas and you have the skills, but you just don't have any money.
So true.
Yeah.
So you can't actually do anything most of the time without money, right?
You have KFC in your tummy.
Hey, I know how hard that decision is,
Oh, yeah, man.
food or, the dream.
We talked about that.
Maybe food is the dream.
Yeah, maybe. Hey.
For some people, that's where the dream stops.
Yeah, so I would say that, man. I was never good at money, man. I was, I put myself in a lot of debt early. And just because I didn't know I didn't know how to spend money, how to save money, I didn't know how money worked. I wanted things now, and so I'd end up putting myself in debt and sort of taking steps back instead of steps forward. So, and that's stuff that I was never taught at school or from, like I said, I don't have a business-oriented family, so that savings and all that kind of stuff wasn't, instilled in me. So, so I would say, if you can, learn how to save.
And what's your favorite thing about running your own business or running Motown Barbers? What's the best thing about it?
Probably the lifestyle. I have kids and stuff like that. So I think, the greatest thing. It was probably my biggest motivation to run a business. I wouldn't say I was inspired to run a business. I was probably motivated to have a lifestyle that I wanted.
Yeah.
And if that meant running a business, then so that was kind of so be it. Right. So being able to take time off to go see my kids' sports or performance at school or whatever, that's great, man.
Awesome.
How often can you call in to your boss and say, my kids are running cross country this morning, I won't be in till lunchtime? You can only say that. You can only say that so many times. You're right. Or so I can, I can pretty much do that whenever I want. So that's, man, you just can't beat that, right?
It's amazing.
It's just such the lifestyle.
Cool.
Yeah, that's inspiring. Thanks for sharing all that with us. Thanks so much for that, Luke. Thanks for joining us today. And if you're listening, make sure you join us for the Tall Poppy Chats episode that will be coming with Luke. We'll have snippets from today's video, but also a great bit of conversation. So join us for that. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
See you later.